Okay, welcome all to the online guided meditation session. So, in today's session, we will be talking more about uh, handling praise or criticism. So, how to maintain this stage of equanimity. So, to maintain the state of equanimity in case of appreciation or in case of criticism. So, we all are familiar what happens when someone starts to praise us. Naturally we bloom like balloons from inside, right? Now same thing, let's say the same person starts criticizing us, and how do we feel about that? We start to feel a little bit irritating, and later on there are many thoughts which keep running as cycle inside, about this person who has criticized us. So it is as if our heart or the mental state is completely disturbed. Now, in this case, how can we return to the place of equanimity, or where, um, how can we have this feelings of inner peace and mercy for the other person? So, with spirituality and with regular meditation practice, this is possible. But the key word which needs to be underlined here is regular practice. So the more I can see the specialities of the other person, or the times that this person has been good to me, if at all you know that person, I can naturally let go of any harsh feelings. Because the more harsh feelings I develop, the more it's going to affect my levels of concentration at work, or during interaction, or whatever it may be. So it's really important that we learn to let go. The more we can let go of these kind of feelings, the better will be our ability to focus, the better will be our ability to stay at inner peace. So in today's meditation, we will experience this in detail. So we will start through by looking at the times where we were appreciated or praised a lot, and then we will go through the times how we can face this appreciation and criticism with equality, with equanimity. So to begin with, sit back comfortably and keep your spine straight. Now focus on your breathing. Take nice and long, deep breaths. And as you inhale and exhale, let the body relax, and let every organ in the body relax. Now let's remain in silence. We will start it with silence, and just take a moment to observe the current state of the mind. Just see what kind of thoughts you have at the moment. What are your feelings like? And what are your emotions like? Just take a moment in silence and just deeply observe your inner state. As you observe your thoughts, as you observe your feelings and emotions, gently slow down. You will start to notice that the more focused you observe, the slower the thoughts will become. At this point, do not resist or stop, but just observe and gently guide them to slow down. And now bring the attention to one thought, that I am a being of peace. So now deeply bring your attention onto this thought, that I am a being of peace. And let the peace deeply penetrate into every organ of your body. And let the mind and body be in full harmony with your inner peace. Now take a moment and look at your life. And when was the last time you were praised about, and how did you feel about it? Now take a moment and see what kind of emotions or the feelings were built up at that moment. And it's definitely okay to feel appreciated, but to think 10 times or many times about the same praise, that's where we lose the stage of equanimity or inner peace. And this starts to interfere with our ability to concentrate. And sometimes too much praise also promotes false self-esteem. This is where I, the soul, I, the master, have to identify or to realize that ego is at play. At this point, I practice handing over the praise to the Supreme Being and realizing that I am not the one who accomplished it, but it's the gift of the Supreme Being that I have been filled with these talents or specialities. So when I become a trustee, I naturally have the ability to detach from the limited success. So I see myself as a trustee who have been gifted these specialities or abilities by the Supreme Being. And the moment I have this thought, it becomes easy to remain at peace, even when someone is praising me too much. And I make this as a practice. Whenever in my life I receive some kind of praise, I just give it to the Supreme Being and just acknowledge that it is His specialities that are being reflected through me. And as my practice gets intense, the more I can make it natural. And this is extremely important because when the same people start criticizing us, we can still be at ease and peace. So I practice the stage of equanimity to always respond from the place of humility, not to react. And sometimes when anyone criticizes me or I face criticism, I totally understand that there may be tough times that other person is going through or the other soul is going through, or there is some pain hidden inside the heart and that is just coming out. So it is at this time I have the feelings of mercy, good wishes, and pure feelings. And with this, I can easily let go and I can return back to my inner state of peace easily. So I just practice to have the feelings of mercy and to have the feelings of purity and good wishes. I practice to myself that I will never react from the place of anger or hatred, but instead I respond from the state of peace. I make this my strong foundation that I never react, but I always respond with peace and love to any situation in my life. And whenever there is a criticism, I evaluate and see that is there any deep intention that the critic wants to convey? And is there something that I can do to fix? Having this attitude will help me to switch to solution mode from the problem mode. And I can easily let go. And I can easily maintain the inner peace. But for this, deep practice of silence is needed. The more inner silence I can maintain whenever there is a criticism, the more easier it is to understand the intention of the critic. And sometimes correction is beneficial. And the easiest way to handle a criticism is to be just humble. Like when you see a mango tree, you notice that people throw stones at the tree, but tree still returns mangoes. And this is a very deep aspect of nature, that the more we practice the power to tolerate and to be humble, the greater will be our capacity to serve the people around us. So I deeply practice to stay humble, to always stay in this feelings of humility. And I make this my natural nature. I acknowledge that everyone has their own specialities and defects. But the more I focus on their specialities, the easier it becomes for me to handle criticism. I can have this stage of equanimity very easily, where there is just love and feelings of mercy for the other person. And I deeply notice and realize that it's not the criticism that causes the pain, but the more we repeatedly play this scene in our heads, the more time we hold this scene in our heads. That's where the pain comes from. So having this realization, I learn to let go. Things happen, I just leave them. I don't hold them, but I just leave them. And this is so crucial to live in present. Because if I keep accumulating things in my mind, I can never live in present. So immediately when something happens or when someone criticizes me, I just hand over it to Supreme and just become light. No more extra thoughts. And this will increase my ability to concentrate. So going forward, no matter what the situation is, or when someone praises or criticizes, I learn to let go. I learn to hand over to the Supreme Being. I learn to tolerate, to be humble, to be merciful, to practice having good wishes and pure feelings. And these are the best ways to deal with criticism. So I deeply realize this. And the more I practice this in my daily meditation, the more I can imbibe these qualities that will help me to reach that stage of equanimity very faster. Om Shanti. I am peace.